Ro.creating. Welcome. So this week I'm going to do up outside our back door. We've a kind of a place there where we eat, and there's a big old concrete shed, and I just want to make it nicer. It could be a lot nicer. So first thing to do is get rid of what's there. So for this I got 6 foot by 6 foot wooden panels. I got 4 of them. I got a broken one for free. I got a couple of 4x4 posts, brackets for them to be screwed into the concrete. I got 4 lengths of 2x2, decking screws and bolts. And then to screw the whole lot into the wall, I'm using concrete screws, masonry bit, and then a drill bit just to drill holes in the wood before you drill through. It stops the wood splitting. So seeing as that I had the luxury of actually being able to attach these onto a solid surface, I didn't want them sitting in the ground because they'd get wet, they'd get rotten. So I'm going to suspend them up a small bit. So I put a piece of wood in the ground first, found my horizontal, and now the panel is just resting on that piece of wood. Find your locations for your screws, in they go. Once 2 of them are in place, the rest are easy. And take away my level. The next panel, I only needed 2/3 of it, so keeping all those little lats in place, I put a little lat of wood across, cut off that, nothing's wobbling around, thank God, and just get him in place, and same as. Now that that panel was in place, I had the end of it, so that means I could find out where the post went. I'm just mocking things up here for myself, but I wanted to get the first post in, so that panel would have an end point and an anchor point at the end. Now I always try to come up with interesting ways of getting bolts into holes. So after hammering them in, and then a bit of delicate little tweaking, you find a home, you bolt her in place, and that's rock solid. So after measuring the 4x4 length, then I used a circular saw to do half the job and finished it off with a handsaw. Now that post has a home, and now I have a place that I can screw things into. It's an anchor point. And as I was at it now, I got some of those 2x2s and I kind of put a trim up on top here just to sort of separate, because I'll be putting more panels above that which will work their way up into the little fascia. So after cutting that at an angle, I'm able to feed that in underneath the overhang, and it kind of gives it a nice clean finish. Right, so it was time for the next panel. Now this one would be completely suspended on 2 posts, so I had to find the location for the second bracket. And one thing I'd say to you here is, once you're finished drilling, always sweep up after yourself. You don't want that stuff going back down the hole. Now, after hammering them in, I got my bracket again, put it in place, and just rinse and repeat. Did the same things before, bolt it down, and now that guy had a home. Now my panel had 2 anchor points. So I clamped him in place, screwed one to the other, start at one point and then you kind of lock it in locations as you go along. Plenty of screws. And it's starting to look nice. Now again, I'm going to continue with that 2x2 trim and just cut your pieces and screw in as you need to. So there was this little area up at the top left of that wall that I wanted to address. So I got a couple of bits of 2x2 that I had and screwed them together after marking it out, brought it down to my table saw, cut it into shape and screwed it in place. So for all intents and purposes, that's kind of that. All the structure of it is in place. Just gotta put my bins back, and then when I've that done, I put my furniture back. And I realised something here in the middle of this. While I was putting this furniture back, you know, doing spin moves and all sorts of crack like that, Dusty comes home. I'm there happy out. Everyone's chipper, everyone's happy. I wanted to give Dusty a hug. Give me a hug. Give me a hug. Maybe a jump hug. And look what he did to me. Look what he did to me. He's like a ninja dog. But we love him. A lot. Look at him. Big Egypt. So this, I think, is a good example of not a huge amount of cost, not a huge amount of materials, not a huge amount of time. But it completely has changed the way that we use the space out here, and I can see it changing throughout the year. We can have Christmas lights hanging up there. We've got tomatoes strung up there right now and they're coming along great. Lovely big sunny wall. So yeah, it's been a really nice little project to work on. So anyway, thank you for watching. Please like, please subscribe, and hit that bell, and we'll see you again soon.